football. It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this video is about a fighter that I really, I've watched him fight plenty. I'm very familiar with him, but for whatever reason, I guess I haven't made a lot of videos about him because I was going back to my video archive, and I haven't made a video about this guy in a couple years. And that's none other than Badou Jack. Now, Badou Jack, this has been a guy that I genuinely feel like he's better than his record may indicate. And he's a guy that, he doesn't do a whole lot great, but he does a whole lot of things good. And he's a very consistent fighter. And he's been a very consistent fighter throughout the years and throughout the weight classes. And that consistency has paid dividends, as now Badou Jack is joining an exclusive club of fighters in boxing, because when you look at the active fighters in boxing right now, how many of them are 3-division world champion? You have Terrence Crawford, Romo Gonzalez, Canelo Alvarez. You have Leo Santa Cruz. You have Vlasiy Lomachenko. Only the best fighters in the world, and I'm sure maybe there's one or two that I'm missing, but those are some of the fighters that come to mind as far as guys who have scaled multiple weight classes and become a 3-division champion. Well, now we can add probably the most unlikely name to that list that we could have ever have expected in none other than Badou Jack, because today I think Badou Jack turned in a career best performance as he put on an absolute clinic and beat the brakes off of the Lunga Makabu. Now, Badou Jack, he's come such a long way in his career as a fighter. I mean, he's so far removed from the guy that got knocked out in a round by Derek Edwards. He's very far removed from the guy that had a majority draw with Marco Paraban. He's very far removed from the guy that all those years ago, back in 2012, had a split decision draw with Alexander Brand. He's been what you could call maybe a little bit of a late bloomer, super middleweight champion, light heavyweight champion, and now a cruiserweight champion. So shout out to Badou Jack, man, because there's a lot of fighters that I've covered over the years and that I've talked about a lot over the years that we complain about how they didn't get the most out of their careers and they left stones unturned. But then we have a guy here in Badou Jack where he's left not one stone unturned. He's not the most talented guy that's ever put on a pair of boxing gloves, but with the tools that God gave him, he's maxed out every last ounce of talent and skill he could have possibly maxed out. And he's a 3-division champion. He's fought a lot of people, the who's who of boxing, to Lucien Boutte, George Groves, James DeGale, Nathan Cleverly, Adonis Stevenson, Marcus Brown, Jean Pascal, Makabu. And as far as this fight with Makabu, I'm not really all that shocked about it because a lot of people I can kind of tell who really watches boxing this week by how they were talking about this fight. Yeah, like I was saying, anybody who watched that fight against the Bisu Umchunu could tell you that first and foremost, if Makabu didn't beat Umchunu, it was a robbery of epic proportions. And two, Makabu, they always say with a fighter, the last thing for a fighter to go is their power. And Makabu got to where he got to as champion largely in part to his power. It wasn't because of this great boxing skill or footwork. It was always about the big, sharp, thudding straight left hand. And I saw in the Mchunu fight that it wasn't quite what it used to be. So his days were numbered as champion. And I think Badou Jack boxed a great game plan. I think the stars aligned where he had a guy who stylistically was a good matchup for him. And that guy was no longer the best version of himself. And Badou was determined to get this last, great win on his resume, and he did. So credit to him. I honestly think it was the best performance of his career. I mean, he did a great job boxing, slugging, sometimes being the aggressor. He mixed things up very, very well in this fight. And don't get it twisted, Badou Jack's been a guy in his career, even going back to his last fight, that for whatever the case may be, for the most part, when it comes to those fights that really matter, winning the big one, he either A, gets screwed on the cards, or B, he just doesn't win. So this is great to see. And I think the two words I can use to describe Badou Jack's career have been perseverance and definitely perseverance and definitely consistency, because he's been consistent throughout his whole career. So he is now your WBC Cruiserweight champion. He's 39 years old, so I'm not exactly sure what's in store for Badou Jack. I mean, now he could fight maybe Lawrence Okoli if he beats David Light, or maybe he could fight Arsen Goulamirian or one of the other champions, but J.O. Pataya as well. But you know, if he don't do nothing else in his career, if he wants to retire on this note, then take a bow. On this note, take a bow, because personally, I don't even think he should fight these guys. Like, I don't even think he should fight Okoli or Goulamirian or J.O. Pataya. Like, nah, man. Like, I'm sure he's made good money. He's made history. He's not going to experience no high greater than this. You know, he's a fighter that he's a Muslim. He's a Muslim. He's the first Muslim boxer to win a world title in Saudi Arabia. So I'm sure for him that's a huge deal. What other high is there to experience? You're 3-division champion. You made good money. You're a known commodity in the sport. You've accomplished great things. Go out on a high. I don't think he needs to be fighting these guys. You know, because he's not a big cruiserweight. So you know, far be it for me to tell the great Badou Jack what he should and shouldn't do. But I'm just saying what I hope for. But he's been one of boxing's true warriors for a long time. You don't see him talking a lot in the media. He's not much of a talker in general. He's just about that action. And today he beat up Makabu, who had been champion for a little bit of time. And Makabu, I don't know where he goes from here. I think Makabu. For all you guys out there that were getting mad at me when I was criticizing Canelo for wanting to fight Makabu, you see why. Makabu is a shot to pieces fighter. He's been a shot to pieces fighter since the Mchunu fight. So now you see why I was saying all that. But you know, credit to Badou Jack, man. I think he's done a great job with Jonathan Banks. Jonathan Banks has done a good job the last couple of fights of taking Badou Jack, a guy that was more so known for being an aggressor, and making him a more well-rounded fighter to close out his career. So shout out to him, man. There's not a whole lot of fighters that win a world title. Even fewer win a world title in 2-weight classes, and even much fewer than that win a world title in 3-weight classes. And he's done it. And he has a career that if this is going to be the final curtain call, final chapter, he can be proud of what he's done in the boxing. Because you know, if you would have told me 6-7 years ago when he was getting ready to fight James DeGale at super middleweight, if you would have said, BT, in 7 years from now, Badou Jack is going to become a 3-division champion, I would have said, you're out your damn mind. But here we are in 2023. Badou Jack is 39 years old, and he's a champion. So this should be a shining example to fighters that you don't gotta be the best fighter in the world. You don't gotta be the most skilled guy. But if you have that perseverance and you're just consistent throughout the years, great things will happen to you. So Badou Jack's an example that you can not only use in boxing, but also in life. So yeah, man, shout out to him for a dominant performance over Makabu. Dropped him in round 4, dropped him in round 11. Beautiful punch placement, just great footwork, just all well-rounded fight. And you know, for Makabu, I respect Makabu. I'm a Makabu fan, but his days have been numbered as champion, and I don't think he's ever touching a world title again in his career. So I respect him too, because he's an overachiever as well. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What did you make of Badou Jack's performance against Ilunga Makabu? And do you think Badou Jack should fight one of the other champions at cruiserweight, or do you guys think that this should be it? Badou Jack should just hang it up on this note, because it ain't going to get no greater than this for him. You know, being the first Muslim boxer to win a world title in Saudi Arabia, you know? So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.